Good morning, everybody. Hello. Warm greetings from Zagreb. So this is another webinar from University of Zagreb, Faculty of Economics and Business. So in this webinar, my colleague Dalia Suša Vugec will talk to you about intelligent automation, and she will discuss a little bit about governing business processes with special attention to robotic automation, and then it will be discussed how all of this fits into intelligent automation of processes. So it will be a very interesting and I believe very informative topic and very informative webinar. And this is all a part of our Foresight project. We've done already a few webinars with similar topics, and this is connecting in one really interesting story. So I will now leave it to Dalia to introduce us into this topic a little bit more.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sanja, for your lovely introduction. My name is, as Sanja already said, Dalia Suša Vugec. I am a postdoctoral researcher at the Department of Informatics, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Zagreb, Croatia. It is my great pleasure to welcome you today to yet another webinar under our Erasmus Plus project Foresight. And as Sanja said, and also as you can see, today's topic is intelligent automation. So let us start. The main goal of today's webinar is to answer what seems to be a simple question at first. What is intelligent automation? However, the answer is not so simple, and it cannot be answered in a few sentences if you want to fully understand the term. But that is exactly why we are here today. Although I cannot, of course, guarantee you the full knowledge of the topic, I surely hope that I can introduce you to it and intrigue you enough for you to continue to explore the topic and hopefully use the resources that are going to be provided as the outcomes of our Foresight project. So let us begin to try to answer that simple question, what is intelligent automation? To put it in simple words, intelligent automation is the combination or the overlap of two big areas, as you can see here on the slide, one of which is robotic process automation, and the other one is the artificial intelligence. However, what you see here is just a tip of an iceberg when trying to explain the intelligent automation. So what I would like to do now is to first explain these two big areas in order for you to fully comprehend the importance and the size of the intelligent automation area. So let's start with basics, and that would be business processes. Business processes are a very important part of any organization. That is the core of every organization. Regardless of the size of the organization and the activity of the organization, every organization functions following certain business processes, whether they know it or not. As I said, not all organizations are aware of their business processes. Everyone has them, but not all of them are aware of them, or not aware of them to the same extent. Therefore, we have some organizations that do not have formally defined business processes at all, while on the other hand, we have those organizations that have carefully elaborated, formally defined, designed business processes. And following that, we have some authors like Kahn, for example, who argues that business processes represent the nervous system of the organization. And that is maybe one of the most important things that you have to remember from this business process definition. Of course, the nervous system is very important, whether it is the human nervous system or the organizational nervous system. So it is important to manage business processes adequately to take care of that nervous system. If we see the processes in more formal way, some dictionaries define them as the flow, path, and manner in which something is or becomes a development, a procedure. We have a Cambridge Dictionary definition which says that a process is a series of actions or events carried out to achieve something or to achieve a certain result. However, if you see the processes in business context, a business process can be defined as the series of related actions that need to be performed in order to achieve a specific business results. However, there is no single and widely accepted definition of either process or business process, but there are some rules that can reduce confusion associated with these definitions. And of course, those rules are determined by business process experts. So, still, there are, of course, a large number of definitions of business processes. Some of them are short, some of them are very long. The example of short and concise definition says that the business process is a set of internal activities that are performed to serve a customer or a client. Also, we have the definition that says that the business process is an activity or a set of activities that fulfills a specific organizational goal. And on the other hand, of course, as I said, we have definitions that are long, that are maybe a bit more confusing. So, for example, we have the definition that says that the business process is a set of activities that use one or more types of inputs and create outputs that have value for customers. Also, we have a definition that says that it is a complete set of connected, dynamic business organizational activities that are scientifically designed to meet customer expectations or to meet business goals and objectives that are defined at the business strategic level. But I do not want to bother you anymore with a large number of different definitions. But if we think about it, what we have heard about the definition of process and business process, if we mix and match different available definitions, putting it in a business context and taking into consideration the characteristics of a process, we can define business processes simply as a series of logically connected activities that have an owner, duration, and required input resources, which must be performed in order to achieve a certain business result of the organization. Nevertheless, it is important to remember that the processes are the business and not only what makes the business, as Davis and Brabander state. So let's see what types of business processes we have. First, the most common classification of business processes lists three main types of processes. Those are primary, supporting, and management. Primary business processes are also called core or operational ones, and they refer to the basic processes by which a company delivers a final product or a service to its customers or clients. Each step that includes primary processes adds value to the products or services that company offers. So those processes are crucial for business, considering that they deal with core values and run parallel to the vision and mission of the business. Primary processes include sales, customer service, financial department, operational, production, and so on. Next, we have supporting business processes. Those are the processes that do not add direct value to the final product or service, but they do support the day-to-day business operations of a company, creating an environment in which primary processes can run efficiently and smoothly. Of course, the empowerment of supporting business processes strengthens the planning of the business strategy, which is also very important. And as I said, they enable smooth functioning of the companies. Those include processes like the ones containing accounting procedures, management processes, processes of the human resources department, and so on. And finally, we have management business processes, which include monitoring, analysis, and control of other business processes. For example, daily business activities. They are used for business management throughout the strategic, tactical, and operational planning, and are responsible for corporate and strategic management and the management of the company operations in terms of setting goals and standards that lead to the efficient and effective operation of primary and supporting processes, and also for harmonizing and managing risks. So they also, like supporting, do not add direct value to the final product or service, but they do help to create and maintain the brand and ensure prominence in the market. And thereby they add value to the customers in the context of intangible values. Furthermore, we have two classifications that are similar. The first one classifies business processes into human-centric and system-centric, and the other one is similar but deeper, where business processes are specified according to the nature of business process participants. So we have person-to-person, person-to-application, and application-to-application, which is very important for robotic process automation. So person-to-person processes are those whose participants are to the greatest extent people, as its name implies. That is, which to the greatest extent imply human involvement into the process, into the course of the process and the execution of the tasks itself. They are supported by job monitoring tools, project management, and group software, which do not involve fully automated tasks, but require human intervention. Person-to-application processes are the ones that include both tasks that require human to perform and those performed by applications without human intervention. And we have application-to-application processes, which are the ones that include only tasks performed by applications, like software systems. They are typically of the field of distributed computing and supported by transaction processing systems, internet integration service, and enterprise application integration platforms. Next, we have the classification that takes into account the predictability of business process. And we have four types of business processes under that classification. So we have unframed or unstructured business processes, where there is no explicit process model, which is most often the case with collaborative process supported by group software systems, which do not offer the possibility of defining a process model. Then we have ad hoc business processes, where the process model is defined a priori, but is executed only once a small number of times before changing or discarding. That is most often the case in the environments of project management and scientific computing. Third, we have loosely framed or loosely structured business processes, where the process model is defined a priori, and there is a set of constraints. So that predefined model describes the normal states while allowing the actual performance to differ from the model with certain constraints, which is most often the case in case handling environments. And finally, we have tightly framed or tightly structured business processes in which an a priori defined process model is constantly followed, which is the case with traditional workflow management systems. The boundaries between the last two classifications I was talking about are not very clear, so that there is a whole range of tools and techniques from manual to automated and application-driven processes, and also there is a large number of possibilities between loosely structured and tightly structured business processes. Lastly, we have knowledge-intensive and repeatable processes, but I will explain them on my next slide. So, in the context of previous slide, Van der Aalst presented a framework for the classification of business processes, according to which most business processes can be found on the diagonal of the framework. As you can see, on the left of the framework, we have the classification according to the nature of process participants, while on the top we have the classification according to the predictability of the business processes. Van der Aalst says that most business processes can be found on this diagonal of the framework. So the more the process is people-oriented and less structured, the more it is knowledge-intensive. While repeatable business processes are automated and tightly structured, which is important, again, for robotic process automation. Okay, now that we know what business processes are and we know a lot about it, it's time to see how they can be managed. As I said, it is very important to manage business processes and to take care of that nervous system of the organization. As I said earlier, in today's business world, there is a large number of organizations that have introduced the concept of business process management into their operations, while on the other hand, there are also organizations for which business process management is not in the focus of their daily operations. However, if we have in mind previous slides in the explanation of business processes, it is of course evident that business process management can be considered as one of the most important aspects of successful and sustainable business in today's world. This importance of business process management as a discipline is recognized by both practitioners and academics, and we have a large number of available systems for business process management, and also a large number of both practical and scientific conferences that talk about it. And of course, robotic process automation cannot be done without business process management, because you have to know your business processes, you have to know how to manage them in order for you to be able to automate them and to select the ones that are suitable for automation to start off with. The concept of business process management lies on several main ideas, but I have listed only 3 of them here. The first one is the idea of Adam Smith. He described it in his work, The Wealth of Nations, a long time ago. So I wanted to start off with that because I wanted you to understand how old the idea of business process management is. So what Smith describes is the division of labor on the example of making pins. He argues that making pins can be divided into several branches, and he approximately says it is 18 individual operations where each worker will perform 1 or more operations. And in that way, Smith actually describes the pin making business process, where each operation represents an activity in the process that is repeated in each new pin making process. As a separate discipline, business process management began to develop in the mid-19th of the 20th century, and its development is based mainly on these 2 ideas of business process reengineering by Hammer and Champy, and on business process innovation by Davenport. So Hammer and Champy talk about business process reengineering as the concept, organizational concept that focuses on the radical restructuring of the company's business system using business process modeling with the support of information technology and the aim of improving company's performance in terms of meeting the needs of customers related to the provision of products and services of appropriate quality and price, while at the same time reducing delivery time and increasing profits, of course. They also emphasize that business process reengineering is not patching holes, or better to say, fix defects in existing business processes and organizational structure, nor it is making incremental changes that will leave the basic structures of business processes untouched. But business process reengineering, its main idea is to start again. So forget everything we know and start again. So it is about the fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of business processes in order to achieve the dramatic improvements. They also emphasize the 4 keywords. So fundamental, radical, dramatic, and process. When we talk about business process innovation brought by Davenport, he emphasizes that a revolutionary approach to improving business performance must include not only the way in which business is viewed and structured, but also the way in which they can be improved and how business needs to be viewed in terms of key processes, and not only in terms of functions, divisions, or products. So business process innovation combines the adoption of a process view of businesses with the application of innovation to key processes. It might sound similar to re-engineering at first, but it differs from a business process re-engineering because innovation includes the prediction of new business strategies and activities of designing real processes, as well as the implementation of changes in the technological, human, and organizational dimension of business process, while re-engineering is only part of what is needed to radically change the process. So now that we know the main ideas, what is business process management? Basically, it is development and control of processes used in a company, department, project, etc., to ensure their effectiveness. One of the most known business process management experts, Paul Harmon, describes business process management as a management discipline focused on to improve corporate performance by managing its company's business processes. Simple as that. But also, what is important to know is that business process management is a multidimensional approach aiming to achieve better business performance through continuous process improvement, optimization, and digital transformation. And also, it is important to understand that it is a holistic discipline and should take into consideration all aspects of doing business, not just information technology and management, but also the culture, the social aspects, environment, and similar aspects. So what actually led to the development of robotic process automation? So first and foremost, there are many changes in the global economy which have been driven by the development of new technologies. That changes require businesses to become more agile, to quickly respond to the needs, wishes, and demands from their customers. In that sense, it is greatly important for the organizations to be able to direct their efforts towards new technologies, which could, of course, provide support for quicker responses to the change on the market. Also, automation is the answer to the frequently asked question of how it is possible to do a job more efficiently, flexibly, faster, more productively. And in order to achieve this, it is necessary to carry on digitization and digitalization, which will modernize existing business processes by introducing new technologies and enable the necessary change. So as this digital transformation and also digitization has become unstoppable, it changes work process in all business sectors, and it is impossible for it to affect only one process, and the most advantages can be seen precisely in tasks that take a lot of time due to the need to do them manually, such as paperwork, maintaining Excel tables, or just simple email correspondence. So this is exactly why robotic systems are an attractive solution, because they offer automation of these repetitive tasks. So let's go on with the definition of robotic process automation. So business process automation is defined as workflow automation or process automation because it represents the way in which technology and automation are used to perform complex business tasks with reduced human intervention and, of course, reduced human effort. The fundamental determinants when introducing automation are defining the scope, or where is it, where the automation begins and where it ends in the process, and what are those actions that needs to be taken between those 2 points, starting and ending. So Automation is especially important for systems that interact with other systems. And in order for such systems to evolve, it is necessary to introduce robotic systems into business processes that use a lot of unstructured data and where business tasks are repeated. And when I say robots, I do not mean the actual physical steel robots like we see in the movies, but usually those are software robots which deal with discrete, repetitive tasks and execute processes as a human would. So in that sense, robotic process automation refers to tools that provide the possibility of connecting internal processes with external ones. And they're of vital importance for business operations. The main feature is the elimination of complex coding and manual processes that become automated. Of course, every automation can replace employees, but the robotic process automation can replace them on repetitive tasks and automate them. So they can enable employees to be involved in more complicated tasks, which can bring organization more value. So we can use our employees to so they can perform some tasks where actual critical thinking or innovative thinking is needed, and not just to do some manual repetitive tasks. So when delivering value, there are many consulting companies which indicate that robotic process automation is an emerging and disruptive technology. And when we are thinking about its definition, it is defined as the application of specific technology and methodologies which is based on software and algorithms, as I said, not physical robots, that aim to automate repetitive human tasks. The biggest drive of robotic process automation is simple rules, business logic, and they interact with multiple information systems through existing graphical user interface. So its functionalities comprise the automation of repeatable and rule-based activities by the use of non-invasive software robots. They usually are called bots. And they are configured and designed to interact with existing applications and systems in a way that humans would do. Most of the definitions define traditional robotic process automation as an emerging technology which automates repetitive human tasks, both digital and physical, and those tasks are usually error-prone, and therefore they are suitable for automation. And recently, the definition of robotic process automation is extended towards its conjunction with artificial intelligence, and that is precisely why we are here today. Also, with process mining and data analytics. And the introduction of the advanced digital technologies allows robotic process automation to be relocated from performing repetitive and error-prone routines towards more complex, knowledge-intensive, and value-adding tasks. If you can remember that framework, we have knowledge-intensive and repetitive tasks. So we will talk about that a bit later on. Now that we know what the business processes are and what robotic process automation is, we also need to know how to select a process that is suitable to be automated by using robotic process automation. In that sense, we have to go back to that framework that Van der Aalst presented. You saw a few slides ago. If you remember, on the bottom right of that framework, there were repetitive processes, which were application-oriented and tightly framed. So that is the first thing we have to think about when selecting the processes for robotic process automation. They should be repetitive and routine. And maybe that is one of the most important characteristics in selections. Also, Datamatics says that businesses can safely select processes which involve any of the following criteria that you see here on the slide for business process transformation and automation. So what is important that the process is repetitive in its nature, that it is driven by the rules. So if it's rule based, the process is then consistent, and that makes him a good candidate. Also, manual processes, data intensive ones. Also, the greatest ones are those that are electronically triggered, so that processes commence on receiving electronic data files. Also, high error rates. Those are tasks that involve paper-based data entry or are interdependent. And those that have huge number of resources. Also, when selecting the right processes which fall under any of these above defined criteria, it automatically translates into quick return on investment. So the processes could be small, but the savings achieved at the end of the year could be significant. As experts from Datamatics says, simple processes reach break-even in 2 to 4 months, medium complexity processes in 6 months, while highly complex processes between 6 and 24 months. Of course, from a business perspective, robotic process automation is mainly used to capture and interpret existing application for processing, transaction, manipulating data, triggering responses, and communicating with other digital systems. So that is something we have to have in mind when selecting business processes for robotic process automations. Now let's go on with the benefits of robotic process automation. So the main benefits includes, as you can see here, increased efficiency, reducing human labor or reducing workforce, if you want to put it that way. Employees can concentrate on value creation. We have cost savings, ease of use, increased volume of performed tasks, increased quality of work, or we can say that the tasks are performed more accurately, correctly, and consistently. Also, the automation can be extended from a task level to a business level by also automating the handover of work between tasks, which will increase the overall process performance and generate great cost savings. And robotic process automation also improves data quality, makes data manipulation tasks more comprehensive. Also, the perceived value of robotic process automation is mainly related to organizational performance enhancement and costs reduction by reducing human labor in routine business processes, and also by increasing the quality of work, as I already said. The outcomes that cannot be directly measured financially are also comprised, such as competence, market position, innovation, knowledge discovery, research, development, and so on. And of course, every medal has two sides. So we have benefits, but we have also challenges. So implementing robotic process automation represents a challenge, and of course, and organizations must learn to manage robotic process automation's adoption to achieve maximum results. As I said earlier on the previous slide, one of the benefits of robotic process automation is cost savings. However, the initial investment can be really high. So sometimes the costs of robotic process automation development and maintenance can exceed the obtained savings. So that is why business processes must be carefully analyzed in order to evaluate if they are suitable for a robotic process automation. So if you have a pretty small process which basically would cost more the company to develop and to invest in robotic process automation, then it is costing them to do it a manual way, so that there's no point of doing that. So one of the key challenges for robotic process automation is to effectively identify processes and tasks that are suitable for automation, as we were talking about earlier. It is really, really crucial to understand the maturity of business processes and to decide which ones are standardized enough to benefit from robotic process automation, and which would benefit from harmonization and standardization prior to starting a robotic process automation initiative. Also, there are some authors that claim that robotic process automation has the potential to make mistakes faster and with higher certainty, because there is no often there is no human check before executing an action. There are still risks and challenges in utilization of robotic process automatization itself. So if the process has errors when performed manually and the same process is automated without correcting the mistakes in the process, the robotic process automation technology will continue generating the same mistakes. So that is also something that we have to have in mind. Also, the flaws may be even more significant as robotic process automation performs everything more efficiently, and therefore it will perform the mistakes also more efficiently and quicker than the human would. So it is very important to have a correct process before putting it into robotic process automation. Since robotic process automation is a software-based solution, the inputs must be digital and the process must be rule-based, as I already said, but which sometimes can be a bit of a challenge. Robotic process automation is technologically independent, and robots can use any applications and sources from the mainframe to Excel and from, I don't know, customer relationship management or enterprise resources planning to web applications. That assumes existing infrastructures built on heavyweight IT tools. So that is also something that we have to have in mind when thinking about challenges. Also, it is important to emphasize that robotic process automation tools are unable to make decisions or to adapt to the changing environment itself. So robotic process automation is most valuable when it is strictly defined, low cognitive and high volume tasks in order. So let's continue with the areas of application. Several business functions are usually recognized as the good candidates for robotic process automation implementation, among which the most often mentioned one are these that you can see on the slide. Those are sales, finance, accounting, human resources, banking, insurance, and others. It is essential that the tools of robotic automation systems can be applied to both web and mobile environments, and such systems are particularly interested industries that traditionally adopt new technologies quickly, especially process-aware information systems such as banking and insurance. But also they can be applied in many other industries, retail, construction, telecommunications, oil industry, I don't know, logistics, fashion, food industry, and so on. For example, if we think about retail, robotic systems can be used for tasks that include automatic price and inventory adjustments, obtaining data from customer opinions and complaints, and such data is later used by several departments in the company, from marketing, sales, development and production, and so on. So I don't know, in fashion industry, robotic process automation relies heavily on speed and accuracy. So they're perfect solution for performing automated jobs in logistics, online advertising, digital production creation, and so on. What are the most often automated processes? So the most often ones are email and notifications, calculations, invoicing, support, conclusion of the year in the business books, customer support, production services, storage and use of large amounts of data, making backup copies of data, employee requests for, I don't know, different leaves, vacations, working hours, and so on. For example, call centers and processes that are related to sales. So what are the trends? Here you can see the statistics that show the spending on robotic process automation software worldwide from 2020 to 2030. So it is estimated in billion of American dollars. So we see that last year it was 2.65 billions. For this year, we grow estimated on 3.4, and by the end of this period, 2030, it should grow up to 23.9%. So this shows us how important and emerging robotic process automation is. Some fun facts. So it is believed that the global robotic process automation will cross the revenue of 10 billion American dollars by 2023. As you can see here, 98% of IT leaders consider it to be crucial for leveraging benefits. Around 80% of finance leaders have either implemented or are in the process of implementing robotic process automation globally. And due to robotic process automation, organizations are expected to reduce operational costs by 30% by 2024. So some interesting things. So let's go on with practical things. Let's go on with the example of robotic process automation. Let's imagine that we are employed in a human resource or department of the Tehnoznanje. That is one company. That company is a company that deals with information technology, and according to the adopted employment strategy, it is necessary to announce the competition for a position of SQL developer. So we have an open position. After all interesting candidates have applied for that job offering, it is necessary to review their applications and to select suitable candidates for further procedure. So we will see that in the next two slides, manual and automated process which can be applied of eliminating the resumes of candidates who applied for that open position. So this model is made in the Bizaji modeler. As you may remember from a few minutes ago, I said every process needs to have a start and end. So this green dot at the beginning, green circle, is a starting point of the process, and that red circle at the end is the end point. In between, we have activities, gateways, intermediate events, and similar. Bizaji modeler uses business process modeling notation 2.0, which is basically a graphical representation of the processes, activities, events, and gateways as main symbols. And the pools, this is the pool representing Tehnoznanje company and specifically human resources department. So when I talk about modeling business processes, this is what I mean. You have to talk with people who are involved and then draw something like this or model it. So our manual processes starts when a new SQL developer is needed. The first activity is that the company Tehnoznanje will post a job ad for the position of SQL developer on its website. This advertisement will contain information about the position, a description, instructions, and also an email address to which the data of the candidate applying for the ad should be sent. Also in the instructions, it is stated that with the email, it is necessary to also send or to attach a CV. and the description of the experience that the candidate or future potential employee has in that requested field of SQL development. After that, we have an employee in the human resources department who checks emails every few hours and filters good candidates or possible new employees from others. And in that mentioned process, there is a possibility of various problems, such as different formats of CV, applications of people without experience, applications of candidates for the wrong ad, applications with wrong information, and similar. And at the end of the process, the employee of the human resources department should send an email containing information about the candidates who passed the first round of elimination and will be further considered for the possibility of employment. Now, if we want to automate it, we have to set some rules and have some instructions. So if we automate that process, we do not need the HR employee to spend their time on checking emails and doing it manually, but all will be done by software robot. So in the automated process, job candidates will still send their resumes via email, but in order to automate it with the help of a bot, in addition to that SQL developer job advertisement, also we have two instructions. The first one is that the CV must be in a certain form and in PDF format. The template is available on the job ad. And the second instruction is that it is necessary to fill in the Google form, which is also in the ad. So the task of the software robot is to log into the email account, filter all incoming emails, and select all those that contain an application for a job vacancy. And after that, the software robot will extract the data from the candidate CV and the database on the completed Google form, and will check whether the candidate meets the default rules, according to which it is determined whether the candidate passes to the second round of consideration for the possibility of employment. So we have two rules. The first one is that document containing the CV should be in PDF and its name should be formatted, as you can see on the slide, CV underline name, underline surname .pdf. And the second rule is that the candidate must have experience working in databases, which is the information that the bot will read either from the CV or from the Google form. So if the candidate meets both rules, he will go to the second round of consideration. And after processing and extracting the candidate's data and checking the conditions, the bot will compile an Excel file that will contain essential information about candidates that will facilitate the company's process of selecting adequate candidate for the position. So this information is predetermined by the responsible persons for employment in the company, and that includes the candidate's ID, first name, last name, email address, contact number, age, experience, and the description of experience. So in addition to that new Excel file that will be created by the software bot, also an email will be sent containing a list of candidates that meet the rule 1, and those who do not meet the rule 1 will not be on that list. If the candidate meets rule 2, so if he or she has the experience of working with databases, then the note will say yes, and his ID or her ID should appear next to the first and the last name on the list. If not, then the note will say no. So let's now see how this is done. So I have a video here. If you can see, my hands are not touching anything. So we have here sub-processes. So sub-processes are, oh, sorry. clicked too soon. So before solving the tasks, it is necessary to create the folder on C disk or C drive, and we have 4 sub processes or main subflows. So we have connection to email, download Excel, processing Excel, and sending email. Sorry, this is on Croatian because we use that in Croatia, of course. So this is the website that the form can be downloaded from, that Google form. This is all the actions that need to be done when extracting data. So if the name is written wrong, if there's a small letter at the beginning of the name, if there are some extra blanks or something, that all will be checked and put into variables, as you saw. And also it will send an email to that technoznanje@gmail.com. So I will now show you, or the video will show you, this is the mail from which the bot will retrieve the CVs from. We have 5 mails here, and 4 of them are PDFs. One of them is in Word format. You see nothing in send. This is the other mail that is Gmail technoznanje@gmail.com, where the end results should arrive. And this is the website that contains the answers from the Google form. So that answers are in Excel, of course. And once it opens, you will see how it looks. So yeah, we have standard Excel with answers retrieved from Google Forms. Other sheets are, of course, empty. And now I close this because we do not need that. So this is my C drive, and the map that was first to be done. That is something that is a prerequisite. And what you saw in that map was ID checker or ID counter. Those are 2 files that basically needs to be created before, and they help the bot to give an ID to someone. So now the process is, the bot is doing its thing. As you can see, the pointer of the mouse is steady, so nothing is going on where a human intervention is needed. So he will download that Google form from that website you saw. Also now he will open Excel and read from it, and also he opens another book. This is ID checker, and you see now he is giving the ID 1002 to someone. Also on the right side you can see that variables are filling in. And that is repetitive for every candidate that we have. So we had 4 PDFs, and now he sends the email. So it was about a minute and 10 seconds. We have that status ready again. And now we can see that in that mail, process robot Hotmail, we have sent mail to technoznanje@gmail.com. We have a list of candidates with yes or no. On Croatian, that is da or no for ne, with the IDs. And this is Technoznanje, the resulting email. Also the list containing names and yes or no and IDs. We have CVs attached to that mail. So we have 2 candidates that are okay, Ivana and Marko. We have ID checker, which said we used 2 IDs, 1002 and 1003. And those are IDs that are also the sheet names of the new Excel, which was written by the bot. And that's about it. Also on this drive, we see that in the first map, only the PDFs were filtered, while in that first one was the Word, and this is the map that was made for sending attached to an email. So all of this was done actually by the bot itself. So I didn't do anything. So let's continue now that you know a lot about robotic process automation. Let's continue with artificial intelligence. I'm sure that most of you have heard about it and that it is a familiar term, or more familiar term than robotic process automation. So what is important for artificial intelligence is that its definition is constantly changing. There is no agreement on the definition, and it is changing as the technology is evolving. Because few years ago or a few decades ago, when there were no computers, so artificial intelligence was something that was considered to be new, evolving, not yet explored enough. So it was exceptional things that computers can do. But as we begin to more adopt some of that technologies, then it's not artificial intelligence anymore. It's something that we use on everyday basis. So a few decades ago, something like calculating basic mathematical operations were considered to be artificial intelligence. Nowadays, we know that that is something that we don't even think about it because we use it every day. So, and there are various ways in which artificial intelligence can be defined, but what is important is that basically it is something that a computer can do independently. So it does not only has one dimension, it is not easy to define, as I already said. In simple words, artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence reproduced by machines. And in this way, an attempt is made to create a system that will be able to copy most human actions, at least as far as those related to business interactions and work tasks. That is something that artificial intelligence is mostly concerned about right now. We have a bit more complicated definition given by European Parliament, which says that artificial intelligence is the ability of a device to imitate human activities such as reasoning, learning, planning, performing given tasks, and solving problems. So it can be defined as a non-living system that exhibits intelligence, and those are usually computer systems. So the father of artificial intelligence is considered to be Alan Turing, who developed a computer in 1936 and made it possible for non-living things to become intelligent. So to show how machines can think, he created a test, called it the Turing test, where questions are asked to a computer and to a human. And if the person conducting the test failed to distinguish between their answers, the computer is considered to be an intelligent machine. Of course, today, artificial intelligence is part of people's everyday lives, often without even realizing that it is artificial intelligence. So that is something that is underneath the online shopping and internet search, machine translation, digital person assistants, smart cities, smart homes, autonomous cars, and many other things. And also we have many technologies that underline artificial intelligence. Those are natural language processing, speech recognition, machine learning, virtual agents, expert systems, decision-making, deep learning, and so on. And some of them are very important for intelligent automation, and I will explain them in the next few slides. So let's start with machine learning. So although it sounds like that, machine learning does not look like the picture on the slide. So it is basically the a branch of artificial intelligence that studies the ways in which machines and humans can learn from data. And it depends on the previous experience to enhance performance or to generate accurate predictions. The main aim of the machine learning is to make machines, or if you want computers, to learn on their own. So we have four major types of learning when talking about machine learning. So we have supervised learning, which human specialists act as instructors, providing the machine with training data, including input or predictor data, and showing correct responses in order for computer to understand the patterns from that data. And they try to model connections and dependencies between the goal prediction results and the input characteristics in order to anticipate the values, the output values for the new data using relationships that they learn from the prior data sets. However, of course, that is not always successful. Then we have unsupervised learning, when we have unlabeled data that is used for machine training, and there is no teacher. And after learning patterns in data, the machine is able to show new things, which is especially useful when the human specialist is unsure of what to look for in a data. Commonly, it is used in pattern recognition, descriptive modeling, and so on. We have semi-supervised learning, which in this case can be classified as a hybrid of supervised and unsupervised learning techniques. And we have reinforcement learning, which aims to use insights gathered from environmental interactions to take actions to optimize the rewards and minimize risks. Let's continue with the deep learning. So growing popularity of machine learning and the development of computing capacity of computers enabled the emergence of deep learning, which is one of the branches of machine learning, and all together are the branches of artificial intelligence. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, deep learning is a kind of artificial intelligence that employs algorithms, or better to say, sets of mathematical instructions or rules based on how the human brain works. So basically, it is the use of deep networks that are linked to calculate algorithms in turn to use several layers to produce an output. Deep learning is derived from artificial neural networks, which you can see on the bottom right of the slide. So we have three layers there: input, hidden layers, and output layer. And that is something that is really important for deep learning. But of course, if you want to learn more about it, I've put here a website where you can learn more. And of course, you can learn more using the resources which will come as an outcome of our project. Next, we have natural language processing. The goal is to identify similarities between sentences or documents, which can be done by calculating a similarity score, since the text is not like numbers, and coordination and the differences between, for example, an apple or an orange cannot be compared. So in that sense, we have distance measures, which are used in text mining, and also natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence. It focuses on helping computers to understand the way that humans write and speak, which is a very difficult task because it involves a lot of unstructured data. So how does it work? It can be structured in many different ways using different machine learning methods according to what is being analyzed. So it could be something simple like frequency of use or sentiment attached, or something more complex. Also, what is important is the natural language understanding, because not just processing, but computers need to understand our natural language in order for them to be able to process what they have heard and understood. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how artificial intelligence is related to business process management. There are various ways in which artificial intelligence can improve business process management. So the use of artificial intelligence in the management of business processes leads to so-called data-driven processes that enable proactive behavior. And in addition, artificial intelligence continuously evaluates the data for the purpose of better assessment, for the purpose of better assessment and providing better forecasting indicators, so that decisions can be made that would lead to a better corporate performance or better awareness of the environment of the company. So there are some ways that artificial intelligence can improve business process management. Also, all of them are important for intelligent automation. So we have automation of redundant tasks, as you saw earlier on the example of robotic process automation. They can automate the repeated tasks, and that is one of the most common applications. Also for predictive analysis or cost-effective business process management implementation, for improvement of customer experience, and for enhancing decision-making capabilities. Also, you have here on the slide a link where you can learn more if you're interested in this topic. What are some trends for 2023 when talking about artificial intelligence? So development in predictive analytics, large language models. Those are founded on the principles of machine learning, where algorithms recognize, predict, and generate human languages based on very large text based in the data sets. Then we have information security, which is, of course, one of the most important aspects of any business. Then launching of better autonomous systems, art through NFTs or non-fungible tokens, which are digital art that allows someone to prove ownership of a store of value. Then we have digital avatars, ethics, which is also very important in artificial intelligence. Also military weapons, which is something that maybe should bring some concerns and should see, since there are so many political things going on, artificial intelligence can either be very helpful or be on the other side of the peace in the world. Also process discovery, which is again very important for intelligent automation and embedded applications. And let's continue with some fun facts. I won't read them all to you, but I will say something about which I think that maybe is most important. What all humans fear when talking about artificial intelligence and robotic process automation is that it will completely reduce the need for humans, but that is not true. As you can see here, the rise of yes, we can say also intelligent automation, but the rise of artificial intelligence will eliminate approximately 85 million jobs, but it will also create 97 million new ones by 2025. Those are some expectations that are made. So artificial intelligence will threaten some unskilled jobs through automation, but it will also potentially create different kinds of jobs that require new skills, new set of skills that will be developed through training. So what will no longer be needed from humans is jobs such as copying, pasting, transcribing, typing, and so on. But in the areas where we have medical diagnosis, speech translation, accounting, artificial intelligence has outperformed humans in every way. But there is one area where hopefully artificial intelligence will never be able to replace humans completely, and that is human judgment. And precisely that is something that we have to hope that never will happen. So on the other hand, when thinking about new jobs, artificial intelligence has accelerated the demand for positions like machine learning engineers, robotic engineers, data scientists, and so on. Also, artificial intelligence is something that lies underneath the voice assistants, and now we have more than 3 billion voice assistants in use, and 8 billion will be used by 2023. And when we talk about that Turing test and the accuracy of answering the questions, the first and the most used voice assistant is Google Assistant with 92.9% of accuracy, followed by Siri with 83.1% and Alexa with 79.8% of accuracy. Also, what is evolving is autonomous vehicles. So many countries are working on designing autonomous vehicles, and that is also something that is closely connected to the human judgment. And of course, if you have some situation where autonomous vehicle cannot avoid crashing, it is important to know what will be the consequences of that crash. So that is something that really needs human judgment. Okay, so now we have learned about processes, business processes, robotic process automation, artificial intelligence. So now it is finally time to see what intelligent automation is. So basically what I was talking about till now, everything combined is intelligent automation. So automation.com defines intelligent automation as the combination of next generation technologies like artificial intelligence, business process management, robotic process automation. But besides that, it also leverages technologies like analytics, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing. So combining all of that together, we have intelligent automation. And it is quite different from other forms of automation, but it is now emerging and growing technology. So it has a lot of potential to make the most significant impact in the growth and development cycle of the organizations. By combining robotic systems and artificial intelligence, smart solutions are created that can make businesses easier for workers, given that in such a combination they add new value to the systems and thus provide companies with competitive advantages. Intelligent automation is very similar to robotic process automation. I will talk about it a bit later, but when robotic systems are used in synergy with artificial intelligence, such systems enable automation of business processes from start to finish throughout the enterprise, as they make better and intelligent decisions by learning from the past and making decisions that humans cannot at that point. So what is very important is that unlike robotic process automation, intelligent automation can make decisions, can learn from the past, and if something happens in the process which was not expected, and we don't have any rules about it for the robotic process automation, intelligent automation can deal with it because that intelligent automation bot has learned from the past and can make a decision when something unexpected happens. So Of course, there are many advantages of using intelligent automation, but also we have some challenges. Let's see what differs robotic process automation from intelligent automation. Although it might seem that there is no difference between them, that is far from true. So they are similar, but also very different. I would even say that intelligent automation is robotic process automation 2.0. So with robotic process automation, robots are used to carry out simple automated processes, systematic, repetitive jobs, rule-based tasks, and so those kind of processes are automated, and those kind of processes are routinely performed following instructions. To put it in other words, robotic process automation performs simple automation using bots, while intelligent automation automates non-routine tasks and user-centric processes that require thoughtful consideration in order to draw conclusions and deliver meaningful and intelligent solutions, and uses natural language recognition and natural language processing in doing so. So among other things, as I already said, robotic process automation systems use instructions to automate tasks when they must perform based on rules, while intelligent automation can adapt to new environments and learn from previous experiences by improving, developing, and progressing over time. So each time something happens, intelligent automation learns from it and can improve for further processes. So while robotic process automation systems is software that enables work to be done with less human effort, intelligent automation is used with solutions that completely remove human work from the process. And we can say that technology and science meet here. So while robotic process automation replaces the need for physical work, intelligent automation can contribute to the performance of intelligent and logical tasks, which of course a simple robotic process automation cannot, because it is trained for performing routine tasks, following instructions, and there are more efficiency and less error rate, while since intelligent automation relies on unstructured data and processes revolving around text, voice, language patterns, etc., it can involve or it involves a certain amount of probability. So it is not 100% accurate all the time. So it is obvious that intelligent automation holds a better work scope than robotic process automation or even other technologies that are available at the moment. So what are the areas of application of intelligent automation? They are very diverse. I have put here only 4 main areas, but of course there are others. It can be implemented in various sectors, such as banking and financial institutions, human resources, healthcare and insurance, customer relationship management, and so on. So, for example, in retail and corporate banking, cards and payments business, and wealth management, intelligent automation can be used to detect insider threats and payment anomalies, to improve financial forecasts, to optimize customers' response time, but also the accuracy and the intimacy of customers' response time. So in manufacturing, for example, it can increase sales and customer engagement. It can be used for predictive maintenance operations, improve supply planning, and seamlessly connect customers and devices. Also, we have other applications which you can see here on the slide. I won't be reading them all since my time is slowly running out. When it comes to benefits, intelligent automation empowers humans with advanced smart technologies and agile processes for faster, more intelligent decisions. So the key benefits are the ones you can see here on the slide. So increasing process efficiency, improving customer experience, optimizing back office operations, reducing costs as well as risks, optimizing the workforce productivity, more effective monitoring and fraud detection, and product and service innovation. Also, as with everything, there are some challenges when talking about intelligent automation. So Automation Anywhere says that there are four top challenges for the successful intelligent automation deployment. So first is fragmented processes. The next one is lack of IT readiness, also the lack of clear vision and employee resistance to change. So that is something that is pretty much normal for every new technology adoption within the organization. Maybe just this fragmented processes is something that is more unique for intelligent automation. Deploying intelligent automation is much more than simply attempting to automate what is already being done. Of course, as I said, companies nowadays have hundreds of different processes, and most of them are fragmented into silos by functional departments or divisions. So that is something that we have to have in mind because intelligent automation can play a major role in re-engineering these siloed processes by enabling lean and cost-efficient operations at a substantially higher speeds and 100% accuracy in comparison to some traditional approaches. And before I conclude, let's see what are the trends in intelligent automation. So we have also something that you can read about more at automation.com. So we have widespread adoption of robotic process automation across industries. Then we have rising significance of low-code or no-code platforms, mainstream adoption of generative artificial intelligence, rise of collaborative robots. Then we have DevOps and CI or CD, meaning continuous integration, continuous delivery automation, that will be ruled by constant testing. Growing impact of augmented intelligence, rising adoption of NLP or narrow language processing technology and conversational artificial intelligence, faster adoption of intelligent automation in small and medium-sized businesses. Intelligent automation will support the staff shortages, and of course, we have sustainable automation through processes assessment and discovery. And what I would like for you to take from this webinar, there are some main concluding remarks. So the first thing I would like to for you to take from this webinar is the importance of business processes and business process management, because as I said multiple times during this webinar, business processes are the nervous system of every organization, and therefore we have to take care of them, we have to know them, we have to design them, model them, follow them, in order for the companies to be successful, for the companies to be to have competitive advantages and to be sustainable at last. Also, you saw that the robotic process automation has many benefits, but also has many challenges. And since intelligent automation is robotic process automation 2.0, some of those benefits and challenges of robotic process automation also translate to intelligent automation. And that is something we have to think about as well. Of course, artificial intelligence, as I said, is an area which is constantly developing. And who knows, in probably a few years, 10 or more, things that I've talked about today, like machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and so on, will be something that we want to think about as artificial intelligence. So that is something that is really, really constantly developing, and it is something that we have to keep in mind. And of course, the main topic of today's webinar is intelligent automation. And as you saw, there are many trends when talking about intelligent automation. Many authors, both academic and practitioners, agree that it is a very emerging area which has a lot of potential, because things that robotic process automation could not do are the things that intelligent automation can. So when you have a problem within a process, you can deal with it without human intervention. The bot will deal with it itself, learning from the past and constantly becoming more and more smarter. What we need to pay attention to is that as things and bots are becoming more smarter, we need to take care of that the humans are not becoming more stupider, to say it that way. So if you remove some tasks from your employees, then that employees should really focus on delivering value to the company, to the customers or the clients, so that altogether employees and employees and the bots are becoming smarter simultaneously. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and if there is any questions now, maybe in chat or somewhere, you can ask them now, or I will be more than happy to follow you up on that. You can send me an email using this address stated on the slide. So thank you again for your attention, and I'm open for the questions if there are any.
Thank you, Dalia. Thank you very much. You were great. You made some really good points, and I learned a lot. I have just one question or comment. I don't know, do you have some information? So we know that intelligent automation and the IE is implemented in large states, for example, China, USA, and I don't know, in Europe, UK, France, Germany. They are leading countries in this area. But what do you think? Will this become a common practice in smaller countries or in developing countries? Do you have some information?
Well, yes, certainly it will, because smaller countries usually follow the big ones. So the big players you have named are using intelligent automation, but of course that is not something that is limited only to the big players, not just the big countries, but the big companies as well. So small companies may use it, but as I said, it is very, very, very important to know the processes and to know which one are worthy of spending the money on intelligent automation, because it is not a cheap thing. It can bring significant benefits and significant savings at the end, but the starting point, the starting costs are really high. So that is why maybe the smaller countries and smaller companies do not emerge in that, do not engage in that yet, because they really need to know how from the larger players. But certainly,
Okay.
yes,
It's not
over
just
time,
the money. It's
it
not
will
just
become a
the money,
common
it's the
practice.
know-how. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry?
I'm saying it's not just the money, if they have or don't have the money, but it's also about the know-how.
Yes, of course, like with everything else. But eventually, we will all be getting there, because technology is something that is really evolving through time, and it is something that really is like a heavy duty trade. Once it starts slowly, but once it starts and goes to the full speed, it is really hard to stop it. So that is something that we are witnessing now with the technology. I believe that there is no way to stop it. Of course, if God forbids there are some wars or something that can stop, of course, the whole world, but technology itself will improve, and it's becoming the successful part of our lives, our everyday lives.
Yeah, more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all use Google Translate, and that is something
Yeah.
that is based on neural language processing, and we don't even think about that underneath that Google Translate lies artificial intelligence. You use different kind of chatbots when I don't know, you go to Facebook and try to type something from a company that you have some questions for, and some chatbot will reply to you. That is intelligent automation underneath that.
So we learned something more.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your webinar. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure our viewers will enjoy it too. So thank you, Dalia, and this is the end of our webinar, and goodbye from Zagreb.
Thank you. Bye bye from
Bye
Zagreb.
bye.